You know, Gav, you're looking a little extra spectacular today.
Thanks.
You are, what do they say these days? You're welcome.
Oh.
Well, what can I say except you're welcome?
Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow.
You know what we are today?
Mm-hmm.
We are live. I'm going to get it. When you do your live,
Yeah.
so we trade every week,
Yeah.
I'm going to get it.
Okay.
I'm going to get it. So, admittedly, I've seen a lot of the clips, seen all this stuff.
Okay.
I know a decent amount about it, but you saw it. You got to live the experience. You got to see the culture, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to watch it on my own time or illegally stream it, whatever it is. But Barbenheimer, man. Barbenheimer, it's a big thing. It's taken over pretty much everything. You know, it's all you see. Hey, Ken. Hey, Barbie.
Hey, Barbie. Hi, Barbie.
Hey, Ken.
Hi, Ken. Yeah. No, it's I tell you what. So we actually saw Oppenheimer first. And so we saw Oppenheimer first. So we saw it early, and I'll tell you what. Oppenheimer was freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's what everyone
I
said.
mean, like it was one of those movies where like there wasn't any real like action per se, but like you you hung on like every scene, kind of.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know what I mean? Like you're watching and you're like, oh my god, like. And the way that they like Christopher Nolan set up like the flashbacks versus like current timeline and that kind of thing made it awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, shout out to Cillian Murphy again, because you know that dude just kills it every time.
Dude, and what was so cool is I didn't really peep until like I saw the trailer. I'm like, wait a minute, Thomas Shelby.
Yeah.
And that era fits him. It fits him so well.
Oh yeah.
And you know, everyone like we were so enthralled with Peaky Blinders that we made and did a Friendsgiving dedicated to that.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll put it up. You actually before like you know when you and I were like really getting into editing all that kind of stuff, you made a really good video.
I can make it so much better.
Well, now you definitely, without a doubt, yeah.
But yeah.
But that was the time like we were coming up and things like that. But we were you know, even me, we were still babies with like using DaVinci and whatever it is. And like I remember watching them like even today, it was really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was such a good actor, and to see him in a different role.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
He does an American accent very well.
Oh yeah.
But what's funny is he's like, I think he's just one of those like old souls, because like he even says in interviews and stuff, he's like, he doesn't use the internet a lot. He doesn't want a brand new phone. He doesn't care.
Smart man.
You know what I mean? He just wants to live life, and
Yeah.
so I think that's really cool. But yeah, the movie was it was different than what I thought. It was like I don't know what I expected, I guess, but I would say like when I went into the theater, I was really excited because like a bunch of actors were awesome in it, and like I knew. And then I sat there and we watched it, and I was like, all right, this is like halfway through. I was like, this is not what I was expecting.
Oh man.
So yeah.
So when you saw, and we'll see the Oppenheimer, but there is one thing that I do want to know. When you saw Barbie, there were a bunch of accounts where people were like, we could hear the explosion in the Barbie movie. Like you could hear it throughout the theaters. Was that a thing?
No. Those people are capping. Damn. But you'll understand why they were capping when you watch the movie.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can spoil some of the stuff for the people out there, but if you want to, because like I won't take it because it is my fault. I just got busy. I didn't get a chance to watch both.
I no, because like honestly, if I ruin if I ruin it, or like if I tell you what happens, it'll ruin the experience, and it's like the climax.
Oh.
So like if you go into it knowing what to expect, it takes like all the weight out of it.
Yeah.
So like don't watch a scene. Don't watch the actual like scene.
Well, that's good too. Plus, I think then like it is still pretty popular. People are like still watching it. And,
oh yeah.
Yeah. So this.
I mean,
will
it's
be
been out for what, 2 weeks? And I went last week, and it was still. It was busy in there.
People are still like people are dressing up like in suits to go see Barbenheimer and Barbie, and then like girls like there was this TikTok I saw. Was it live? Maybe the last night or the day before? Maybe it was this morning. Whatever it is. The women are like, This girl was like, yeah, so I went to go see, Barbie, and like I was gonna wear some pink, and my boyfriend wore like a pink shirt, whatever it is, and we
Yeah.
went in there,
I wore
and
a purple shirt.
oh really?
Yeah.
Oh nice.
I didn't
See,
even like mean to,
yeah, but like
but
she was like, yeah, if you're a girl and you're gonna go see Barbie, especially like right now, she goes wear a dress,
yeah.
wear something, because like I didn't peep it, and she's like she took like a video and like pinned it. I'm like, oh my god, like, these
Well,
women are dressed up.
it was weird because like we went to see Oppenheimer and everybody was dressed kind of normally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it wasn't that busy in the theater itself, but then we went to, but it was early. It was like we went to a 12:30 show.
Okay.
We got into Barbie and like it was like a sea of pink. Everybody had pink on. Everybody. And I was like, dude, like there was girls that showed up in like pink bandanas with pink shirts and pink, like
Yeah, I heard it was crazy.
apparently there was like feathers everywhere, so it was apparently somebody showed up in like a pink feathery outfit. Like there was stuff. It was nuts. Like it was a whole phenomenon. But yeah, so to kind of spoil what the premise of Oppenheimer is, and then I'll get into Barbie because I just know where I saw them. So Oppenheimer is obviously following the life of Robert J. Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
So, you know, and he's the father, quote unquote, of the atom bomb.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I found out a lot of information that I didn't know about him because
Yeah.
I thought he was somebody complete. Like I thought how he like came and like how he was like he came to the discovery of the atom bomb and how like everything went down was totally different than how it really was.
Oh. Okay.
And so it pretty much starts off following his life and in the beginning and like how he gets a start into like physics and theory and all
Yeah.
that stuff. And then the way the movie goes is it cuts between different time periods. So it'll be like the first couple scenes will be him in like school, and then it'll cut to him already like at
Oh, I
basically
love
the
those
detonation. You know what I mean? Like and like he just jumps around. But the way he does it is so clean. Like I just like you're never sitting there like, well, is this a flashback? Is this just how it's set up?
Well, see, that's a hard. Not to cut you off, but
Yeah.
like that's a hard thing to do. There's a lot of movies and shows that struggle with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, there's times where like you and like, say that we did like about this podcast. You and I are cutting. We're both working on stuff. And now we're like cutting to this moment here.
Yeah.
People are like, wait, I thought they were. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's a hard thing to do, and the fact that they can do it well, that's good.
And Christopher Nolan's the godfather of like hard movies to watch. You know what I mean? Like confusing movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it wasn't like confusing at all.
Good.
It wasn't where like you're kind of scratching your head like, wait a minute, I thought this was this. It's more so like you just when you start the movie all the way through, like you just want to know what happens next. And like it goes through his life and it does some jumps and then obviously it culminates to the detonation and then kind of what surprised me was kind of he kept going. So like the detonation happens and it's then like what happens after like the next the time period following.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's some like twists in there.
It's a
You know?
twist.
A twist.
Does it have a beginning, a middle, and a twist?
Yes. It does.
I'm sorry.
But it's one of those where it's like when it gives you like foreshadowing, and then when the twist actually like when it's culminating to the reveal of the twist, you're like, oh my god, I forgot about that. Like you know what I mean, like completely.
Yeah.
And
Christopher Nolan's good at that too.
oh dude, it was so good. And Robert Downey Jr.'s character, and it's a little interesting, especially if you don't know like the history behind it.
Yeah.
So like if you don't know the in-depth history of like what happened,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, that's something.
Now, do you think after seeing this movie, right?
Yeah.
People know and have a general, we'll call it a general idea
Sure.
of like the atom bomb and like what happened and things like that.
Yeah.
Do you think this movie was like a bit of not I don't want to say culture shock, but like this is what happened, this is behind the scenes, like this is everything leading up to it. Do you think it was like a big shock to people, like this is how it truly was?
Oh yeah.
Or do you think? Yeah.
I mean, I think like from speaking for myself, I always knew like, okay, we created the atom bomb, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
We technically didn't create the atom bomb.
Okay.
It's because we got beat by Russia.
Oh right. Yeah.
But they couldn't. They like culminated. They like formulated the plan, or like they made the formula of how to set it up, but they made a crucial like error. So they beat us
I didn't know that.
to splitting the atom.
Oh.
They split it first, and then they fucked up, and then we came in and we were like, okay, and we made it right, and that's how we made it first.
We did drop one of the biggest gender reveals of all time.
Yeah. Well, what's another thing that's crazy is what I didn't know is so well in the movie, like, so when you're watching it and like you're going through, I thought it was like, we dropped the bombs on Japan,
Yeah.
and then like, okay, like it propelled us into like making sure like we won the war, but like when you're taught it in school, it's kind of like glossed over.
Yeah. No, without a doubt. Yeah.
But what's crazy is like when you really like go back and like watch it, it's like why we drop, like how they dropped the bombs, and like what like the pretext was, is like it blew my mind.
Well, I know there's a thing that you ever watch a guy on TikTok where he goes, "Well, you don't understand."
Yeah.
So I didn't know this until him, which is kind of sad because like that was a big thing that I did study was history, and it was Operation Midnight, or no, it was something that the Japanese was going to do. They basically weaponized the Black Plague.
Yeah.
I can't think of what it was, but they were actually going to do it a couple days or whatever it was before we were going to drop the first atom bomb. And after doing that, it stopped the whole procedure. Something, I guess the skies weren't great or something like that,
Yeah.
and they couldn't transfer it over. But they weaponized the Black Plague, and just before they were going to do that and release it in America, we dropped an atom bomb.
Yeah.
So I know there were big things like that, and like I'll try to put it up, or like the thing on the green screen so they can see it. But like people like that, like that's where I would learn a lot of things from the Oppenheimer, because when it was first came out, it was so big that these like history buffs, these TikTokers, especially that guy, like, you don't understand.
Yeah.
And I'm blanking on it, but the name of it, but it was like they were gonna weaponize the Black Plague, and then we dropped the atom bomb. But it's cool because I guess like Oppenheimer's the whole thing behind everything.
Well, yeah, it's the whole how we came to the atom bomb. Get what I mean? And what's nuts about it was, like, I don't really want to spoil it, but it's like when you learn about it nowadays, it's like, oh, we were at war. Japan then attacked Pearl Harbor. Drop bombs.
Yeah.
It's not quite how it went down.
Yeah.
So, it was cool. It was cool to see that the next side of it, and then like I said, it's cool to see everything that like it really just goes to show like our government's been kind of fucked up for a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that movie, and like I don't want to talk too much about it because I'm gonna end up spoiling something.
Sure.
Because like that's the thing that makes the movie so good, is everything you want to talk about is a crucial plot point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which is good because I think with our like overviews, our reviews, we do say sort of spoiler alert, but this might be a good one.
One is a good one to kind of experience for yourself.
Yeah.
And obviously there's clips and stuff you've probably seen, but like watching the whole thing through, it's just like, oh my god, you know what I mean? Like, oh man.
Oh god.
So I think you should watch it.
I'm definitely going
to.
We
could fucking figure it out tonight if you want.
Dude, we can, yeah.
But yeah, so then going into watching that, you leave the theater. I'm glad we watched it first, because you leave the theater and you're like, oh my god, that was some stuff. Then we went into Barbie.
Did you get beached off?
Yeah. But dude, Barbie was like not even remotely close to what I thought it was going to be.
Really?
Not even remotely.
Okay.
I can't say that I didn't enjoy it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't say that I was upset watching it.
Well, I mean, anywhere else you'd be at 10,
there's
right?
definitely some stuff that I didn't appreciate, and there's definitely, like, some things where I'm like, okay, let's...
Yeah, I've heard a lot of the plot points, too, with that.
Yeah, so, like, basically the whole point of it is you start... And I'm going to ruin the fuck out of Barbie.
That's fine. People already have. I've already watched overviews of that.
So, basically, you start off with Barbie, and she's in, like, she's in her, where Barbie land, and she's doing her thing, and everything's perfect. And then she's at this dance scene, and she's dancing, everyone's having a good time, and then she says, anybody else think about death? And then everything stops, and she covers herself, and then like it keeps going, but then she's like, why am I thinking about death? I don't even know what death is, and why am I? And then like the next day, like things are going wrong. She like burns her toast, and she like falls, and she like her feet, like when she steps out of bed, her feet are naturally on her like the balls of her feet.
Yeah.
Her heels hit the ground, and like she can't go back. Like it's a bunch of stuff is happening. She's like confused because she doesn't know what's happening,
Yeah.
and everybody around her is like, "Oh my god," whatever. So then she has this like flashback thing eventually where she's like, "I have to find the person that plays with me,"
Yeah.
and she sees like a vision or whatever of like a little girl playing with her and like then like tossing her aside and like all this shit, right? So then she's like, all right. So she goes and does her thing, and then she eventually leaves Barbie Land because she has to find this little girl and get her to love her again.
Yeah.
Okay. Ken sneaks with her. He's like in the car. She doesn't know. He pops up and he's like, "Hey, Barbie." She's like, "What the?" And then like
I've seen that clip.
you
Yeah.
know. So then she gets out and she's like, and they both get out and they're like getting made fun of for their outfits and stuff, and then they're like, we don't they don't know how to like pay for things or whatever.
Sure.
Eventually, Barbie finds her, and this little girl is now a teenager, and she's like, "Hi, I'm your Barbie," blah blah blah, and then the little girl's like, "Who the fuck are you?" You know? And
Yeah.
this little girl's like really mean, like really mean. Like, she's like makes her cry, and Barbie's like, "You don't like me?" And she's like, nah, like basically just like
Discredits her.
Yeah.
Gets rid of yeah.
And so then eventually you find like there's the CEO of Barbie is Will Ferrell, and he's he finds out that Barbie and Ken escaped, so now he's on the hunt for her. And like a bunch of like a little stuff happens. There's like a Chevy commercial in the middle of the movie, basically. Not really like a commercial, but like they're like she's like the. You come to find out that the mom of the little girl is the girl that was her Barbie, not the little girl. So then the mom's like, "Come on, Barbie," and then she takes her kid and Barbie, and she's like, "You believe?" And she's like, "Yeah, it was me," you know. And like she was going through a rough time in her life, so she started playing with her Barbies again, and that's why she was thinking about death and like tax, like all this like real world stuff. And so that's why Barbie was experiencing it. So then they're gonna get in the car and she's like, "Get in," and it's like Chevy logo, Chevy, and it's just like it was like sport mode, this that, and I'm like, dude, what is this?
I mean, that happens sometimes in like in Burn Notice.
Oh,
She would
yeah.
have like the Sonata or whatever, and she's like,
This is Hyundai. But like it was just funny because it just felt like a commercial. And then some stuff happened I didn't like. So I'll get into the stuff. And like basically they do their thing. Barbie wins. Barbie ends up not being because she's the original Barbie, like the first Barbie.
yeah,
She's now no longer needed in the world, so she talks to the ghost of the creator of Barbie and then becomes magically a real person. And then the end of the movie ends with her going to see her gynecologist.
oh yeah, because I remember like there was like one
Yeah.
close like, well, you don't have a
I have all the genitals. But yeah, so the stuff that I didn't like about the movie is there's just like an overarching plot line of that like men are like dumb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard this.
And like it's done in a way where it's not super blatant, but it's just like Ken goes into the real world and he finds out because in Barbie Land everything's about the Barbies, and he's like second tier.
Yeah,
So then he goes into a world where it's a man's world. And so
patriarchy.
the patriarchy, and he's like patriarchy. So he goes back to Barbie Land and tells them everything about that, and then all of a sudden every dude there becomes a gym bro, like not a gym bro, but like a college, you know, like a
Yeah.
like a
You can say gym bro, like it makes sense.
like a frat bro.
Okay, yeah.
Crush beers, watch sports, you know what I mean? Like just like the like oh my god, it was so frustrating to watch, and like it's like I can see where like they were coming from, I guess, but they were saying like Barbie Land is for girls, the real world is a man's world, and you know, men he's like it's like there's some like funny, you know, quotation, you know, funny parts where he's like goes into the hospital and he's like, "Where's your doctor?" "I am a doctor." He's talking to a girl. She's like, "I'm a doctor." He's like, No. Where's the man?" Like, and I'm like, okay, it's a little on the nose.
Yeah.
And it kind of took me out of like the enjoyment, I guess, of it, because then you're just like, okay. And then there was like a fat Barbie, and I'm like defeats the whole purpose of Barbie. But like I
Yeah.
get it. Like I think there really was I don't even know if there was a fat Barbie. I don't play with Barbies. I don't know. I don't keep up in that field.
Watch we go. I take back the ass and
Yeah, but I don't know.
don't open that closet. Ken, Barbie.
Like literally, like it was just like, and then there was like there was the whole thing in the beginning was there's a Barbie can be for everybody. There's a doctor and a lawyer and a judge and a blah blah blah. And then there's a point where they have to censor out the word motherfucker. And I'm like, what am I watching right now, dude? Like none of it was like I wouldn't want to see it again.
Yeah,
like I wouldn't.
People have said that too.
I don't care enough about it.
Yeah,
and like it really does kind of suck because I was kind of enjoying it. I was watching. I was like, okay, it's kind of funny. Okay, like I'm kind of enjoying this. And then, I mean, obviously, I also know that it wasn't made for me.
Yeah,
like it was made for the girls of our generation or
whatever
that played with Barbies. But like, I don't know, man. It was just one of those things where you're like, okay.
I've heard this a lot too, and like that overarching plot they were having, like a lot of the guys, like they would go, and even like I guess like some women, but they would also probably call them pick-me's too. What do you want to say? They're like, yeah, it was just kind of blatant, like, and I get the storyline, like you're branding to you know the girls of today, you know, not the girls, you know.
Well, I just think it's interesting how if you want to brand, like if you want to go into a male-driven direction, you go like war or sports. If you want to go into a female-driven direction, you go like hating men.
Which is interesting,
you know what I mean?
Because a lot of the times you don't see it. It's war. Look at Oppenheimer. I almost called it Oppenheimer, and then look at like Blinders. Look at you know anything with World War II or anything like that.
Yeah,
you like they just go with the times. They don't disrespect women, whatever it is.
Yeah,
but then it's like it's just blatantly like fuck men.
That's literally what it is. It's like you know, and my thing is like, dude, and like dude, don't get me wrong, I can be tongue in cheek and I can be like, okay, whatever, like you can poke fun and that whole thing. So I wasn't sitting there like, oh my god, this movie sucks, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But it was just like kind of irritating a little bit when like you're watching it and you're like I'm sitting in a full theater
of women in pink,
and I'm like, and like all these girls were like, yeah, and I'm like, all right, like fuck men, you know what I mean, like, and it was just had that basic thing of like fuck the patriarchy and like you know women are better.
But I mean, to their credit though. You do that, you sell tickets.
Oh yeah.
See, this is the one thing that I wish people would understand more is conglomerates don't give a single fuck.
No.
They just know if I go and I talk about black North Faces, you're gonna come and you're gonna watch the movie.
Yeah.
They come and they talk about Jim Bro shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come and watch the movie.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck about black North Faces. They don't give a And the thing is people gotta realize that too. You know, whether they want to or not, it's like they're gonna brand to whatever's gonna make them the most money. So if you think that people who made Barbie actually care, some people probably do. They actually care about the patriarchy. They probably don't.
I just get tired of the whole like I understand the like where women say, well, men have disrespected women for a long time, and,
which I can
and I anybody that's been abused or anybody that's been like pushed down in the world or like just held at a different standard, I definitely appreciate that.
Without a doubt, yeah, absolutely.
And I don't want to make like light of that or make that like small.
Mm-hmm, I agree. I'm right there with you.
The problem that I have is when you take an anti-insert whatever you want, and you put it into every aspect of what your like the movie's about. Like, for example, the same thing happened with Ghostbusters in 2016. Instead of making just an all-female Ghostbusters, it was, oh, we're all female and the men suck, and now we're gonna take Chris Hemsworth, a pillar of the men's community in terms of health, fitness, movies, whatever, turn him into a dumb blonde, quote unquote, and like just be like the eye candy of the movie. And they're trying to make it like, well, this is what guys have done, like movies have done forever with women. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, people like women were objectified.
Yes.
/ are objectified, but so are men, not to the same degree.
I would agree. Yeah.
But it's now you can't. Two wrongs don't make a right.
Exactly.
If you're objectifying women and we're like, hey, like the women are like, hey, we don't like that, and we're like, okay, well, we don't care what you think, and we keep doing it because it's making us money, then the women are going to turn around and say, okay, well, we're going to do the same thing with you. The problem there, though, is it's like It's like if somebody spills juice on the table, and you're like, "Why would you do that?" And they're like, "Well, it's a free country," and you're like, "You know what? I just cleaned that. So what?" It's like, "Oh, fuck you." Pours juice on the other table. There's still juice. Like,
and the thing too is a lot of people. It's one thing like because I have noticed that people that like it's past like 10+ years, people have stopped doing that so much with women. Like they'll put like hot woman in there, whatever it is, but they're not gonna like be crazy about it, make her totally stupid. A lot of times they might even make her smart. But the thing is they're doing it so blatantly, it totally detracts from your male audience.
yeah,
So what I would suggest people do is with these movies, I don't remember the things. I'll try to find it and put it up. But I saw this and I think it wasn't New York Times. Maybe it was Washington Post. It was like certain movies like this where their female audience was so much higher, and sometimes it was because and their whole dichotomy was it detracts the male thing because okay, one thing, men might not want to go see Barbie, but they might go see it for fun or make a whole thing about it. But why is a man like this? That's what you said. Why does someone want to sit there with a room full of women when they're blatantly going, "You guys are the problem.
Yeah.
You guys suck." Like whatever it is. I'm like, no one wants to sit through that.
no,
No one. And the thing is like, how you're exactly to your juice point. Two wrongs don't make a right, and it goes back to one of the quotes. It is a little. It's about more race than it is about gender, but gender. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'll get canceled again for that.
Oh yeah.
But Morgan Freeman said, he goes, to stop racism, you just stop fucking talking about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That was a pretty good interview.
And yeah, it was a great interview. Yeah. And the thing is it goes to show it's like, if we just stop like engaging about it, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Then it'll just dissipate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think
at least in that regard.
Yeah, I think in terms of men and women, like race is one thing.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
if we stop, like, there's a difference between history and like culture and history and like learning about things that happened and then like demonizing people and or glorifying things. So I think if you look at all just talk about race for 1 second and we'll talk about genders. If you look at like all like the movies about like slavery,
yeah,
and if you flip the coin and you said if you had turned like taken it from the African American objective and put it into like the POV of like the white person, the same level that it would be literally like watching them like doing these heinous things and then being like, this is the right thing to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
yeah,
it's just like I'm tired of my whole life. I'm growing up, slavery, and I'm like, and then now look at where the world is, where you have how many people? You like what just happened in the rally or whatever, where the African whatever he is. I don't forget what he is.
I don't think I heard this.
It was like he was basically we're singing like this like hymn or song or whatever about like basically like killing white people, and then like there was like a whole thing where there's like hundreds of like white farmers in South Africa have been murdered over the past however many years, and then just because they're white and stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
did not hear this.
And it's supposed to be fighting like the British colonization and the white imprint on Africa and all this stuff.
Well, there is something that's fucked up. I just recently interviewed Dave Biesecker. He's a constable in Norristown.
Yeah.
So pay your tickets or he'll probably arrest you. But it just happened. Great Britain just paid back all the reparations.
Yeah.
But it was for the slave owners.
Oh.
So when the UN abolished slavery, right?
Right.
They're like, oh, well, we took away your, and I don't mean, I'm just saying this is what they said. We took away your tools and things like this because they're people. They are people. We'll pay you like billions. Yeah.
I remember hearing about. Or, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He told me, and I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Well,
sorry,
they're different conversation.
Yeah,
you know? But yeah, it just in the terms of men and women, the problem is people are like, well, women will say, well, yeah, that's how we felt forever. Like how you feel about it in this stupid movie is how we felt in every movie forever. And the problem with that is I don't think anybody should feel that way.
Yeah.
Like I don't think anybody should have to be put down for someone else to be put up.
Yeah.
And I think in this movie, you have quirky little fun things and quirky little things where you can look around and say, "Oh, this is like actually laugh at," and be like, "This is like what a movie." Like, especially coming from Oppenheimer, where it's so deep and so like heavy. It's like this is lighthearted, whatever. And then every 2 seconds, it's like men this or women are better at this and da 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 da. And I'm like, all right, dude, whatever. Like, you literally in Oppenheimer, he's a womanizer. He's literally a womanizer.
Yeah.
And the worst thing you're gonna see in the movie is like the worst thing you see in the movie is when Florence Pugh's character is like he's having like she gets naked in the movie, so you see breasts in the movie. And it was a little weird to how they did it, like a little strange, I would admit. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess it's just because I'm a man and I don't get it.
You're a cis white male.
I'm a cis white male. I have won at life. So, but I digress.
You haven't said it recently.
Saving them up. But I don't want to take away from the Barbenheimer experience. I did overall have a good time. Oppenheimer was my favorite out of the two. And even for all the shit that Barbie, the dumb shit that they put in there, I still think it was enjoyable to kind of just chill.
That's what a lot of people
just
said.
Kick up your feet, not care like at all about what was happening on the screen. Just kind of stare at it, and then go about your
Look
day.
at Margot Robbie. Apparently, what was funny was I never would have ever said this in my entire life, and I still disagree with it. But it was a couple days after, people were saying like Margot Robbie's mid.
Oh, dude, I don't know how.
I was like, and it was a trending thing. It was like, yo, things that are mid, yeah, bang, 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 bang. I'm like, okay, I agree. Margot Robbie and Barbie. I'm like, what in the fuck? Does no one remember that scene?
Margot Robbie's gorgeous.
She is. But I'm saying, does no one remember that scene?
Yeah.
It's still in my head every day. From
The Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Don't reenact the scene.
There will be
Okay, I
no panties in this house.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't like whatever you act to see?
No.
Should I do it again?
Nope. Please don't. You remind me of that scene from Family Guy where he's recreating a scene and he has the dress on. He goes, "Oh, do I?" Flips, like opens. He's like wearing a skirt or something. He's wearing a dress. It's just like, they're like, oh. Literally what you reminded me of right there.
Well, thanks.
But yeah, so overall, I'd say overall, I'd give my experience like an 8.5 out of 10.
Nice.
Oppenheimer, I give like a 9.5, and Barbie, I don't know. I mean, depends. If I'm just trying to have a good time and I'm just like, you know what, throw something on, I could throw on Barbie.
Put it on tonight.
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
For sure. I'm just kidding.
Anywhere else I'd be a 10.
Sorry, it's just.
Keep fucking around, bro. I'll beat you off.
I'll beat you off.
No, I'll beat you off first.
I'll beat you off first and faster.
You know what? Then you have to beat him off. Then you got to beat me off.
I'm beaching off everybody here.
When I saw that clip, I was like, yo.
It was so dumb. And that was the first scene where I was like, is this a kid's movie?
Well,
like,
people were saying that too. Like, they were like, this is a kid's movie? And there were things that they're like, I don't know.
Well, Sky said it. She was saying it. She thinks it was more for like our generation.
I do think so too, because a lot of our generation, like you don't see it nowadays, kids play with Barbies, but back then it was a very big thing.
Yeah.
But Barbenheimer.
I guess it was Barbenheimer.
Oh, that makes sense. I don't know why I called it Barbenheimer.
Yeah.
But all right.
Yeah, technically I watched. I did Up and RB. Yeah, we're good with that.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to get longer arms. Until next week.
Till next week.